We're here at the NMAC Center. It's the Greatness in Leadership Conference that's going on here. Now, the people here, the organizers, they invited all the medias to show up. So it's a bit of a, it's a scrum. You can see over there, they're talking to Chris Hadfield. There's also Buzz Aldrin. He's the second man on the moon. And we also have the man who is known as Chester Elton. His grandfather was Dave Elton from Dave Elton Ballpark. So basically, we're kind of trying to get in there, sneak in a couple of questions, talk about a few things, and see where it goes from here. And I know I wanted to ask Chris Hadfield if he'd sing Rocket Man with me, and so far it's a no-go. But I understand that. People have slapped me for asking. But anyway, here's a little taste of what we tried to do here at the Greatness in Leadership Conference. Chris Hadfield, this very important day. I don't know if you knew this. This day, February 23rd, 1909, Doug McCurdy flew the Silver Dart on Bedeck. And guess what? My grandmother was there.
Cool.
So this is really cool to come in full circle.
I was there for the 100th anniversary in 2009, and I flew a historic Canadian airplane, an F-86 Sabre, over the same piece of turf where James A. McCurdy did that flight. Yep.
My grandmother said she was just there because she loved the look of the pilot.
Fair enough.
When you think about those test pilots in those days, I mean, a lot of they didn't know as much then as you know now. So it must be kind of an inspiration to see these guys do what they did.
It is. It helped inspire me to be a test pilot. And test pilots die all the time. It's a very dangerous business, and we take it very, very seriously. And I worked as a Canadian military test pilot for several years.
At what point in your childhood did you say, "Hey, I like to do this kind of stuff"? Or were you a risk taker at all in your early days?
Test pilots are not risk takers.
No,
test pilots are risk averse.
Oh, okay.
Test pilots are risk managers. If you like risk, then you will die as a test pilot. So the idea is, how can you solve a problem that is currently risky in a safe manner so that then the airplane becomes more capable or anything? And that's what test pilots do, and that's what astronauts do. And that's what I've done with most of my life. And I decided to be an astronaut the day that Buzz and Neil walked on the moon. Yeah, it was
1969. I was there.
Yeah, July 20th, 69. To me, that was not just inspirational, but it was like giving permission, because now this was a thing that human beings could do that used to be impossible. And I just thought, I'm going to be something when I grow up. Why don't I be that?
Sure. How tough was it to be a Canadian getting into the NASA program? Does it make a difference, being Canadian and trying to join NASA?
Well, I never joined NASA. So Canada has a space agency, and the Canadian Space Agency was formed from a research council and things like that. And I was hired by the Canadian Space Agency in 1992, and then we decide and we participate internationally. And the Canadian Space Agency sent myself and Mark Garneau, who's having his birthday today. Happy birthday, Mark!
So was my brother, by the way.
How about that? Yeah. So Mark and I were detailed down to work as part of the NASA Astronaut Corps in 1992. And then I served internationally as part of the Canadian Space Agency for 21 years, and in the United States and Russia, and had a chance to fly in space 3 times.
Now, since I know you do a lot of training and you do a lot of simulation, once you got into space, was there one thing you said, "Oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting this," or were you pretty much prepared for everything?
Having been a downhill skier and a fighter pilot and a test pilot, I thought I knew how to prepare for things until I get into the space business. And if you're not in it, you have no idea just the incredible detail and meticulousness of preparation that we go through to get ready for space flight. So that hopefully when you get up there, it's not going to be exactly the same. Simulation and reality are always different, but it's going to be somewhere within the scope of all the things you train for. I don't think you're ready for the magnificence of it. Seeing the world every 92 minutes. I've been around the world a little over 2,600 times, and the personal impact of that is not something you can prepare for. But the technical side, we work really hard because nobody wants a surprised astronaut.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.